Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in the space community lately, and no, it's not another Mars rover update. This time, it's about a SpaceX rocket that, well, let's just say it had a rough landing on the moon. But here's the kicker, it wasn't supposed to land at all. Personally, I think this story is a perfect example of how even the most advanced space missions can take unexpected turns. What makes this really interesting is that it's not just a one-off incident, it's part of a bigger trend of lunar litter that's starting to raise some serious questions. So here's the deal, a SpaceX rocket that launched a pair of lunar landers last year ended up crashing into the moon at a staggering 5,400 miles per hour. Now, no one actually saw the crash happen, it's not like there were cameras rolling, but astronomers spotted a debris plume from a telescope in Chile. From my perspective, this is where things get fascinating. We're relying on indirect evidence, like a stream of sodium and lithium detected by the Very Large Telescope, to confirm the impact. It's like solving a cosmic mystery without ever seeing the crime scene. What many people don't realize is that this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Just last year, a Chinese rocket also crashed into the moon unintentionally. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a pretty clear sign that as we ramp up lunar missions, we're also increasing the risk of space junk piling up on the moon. And let's be real, the moon doesn't need our trash. It's already got enough craters without us adding to the mess. Now, SpaceX has been quick to point out that this crash wasn't deliberate. Apparently, a combination of solar activity and gravity sent the rocket segment on a collision course with the moon. In my opinion, this highlights a bigger issue: how do we manage the growing traffic around the moon? With NASA's Artemis program and private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin planning lunar missions, things are about to get crowded. One thing that immediately stands out is the need for better tracking and disposal methods for spent rocket stages. We can't just let them drift aimlessly and hope for the best. What this really suggests is that we're still in the early days of figuring out how to operate sustainably in space. The moon is becoming the new frontier, with plans for a lunar base and even astronaut landings by 2028. But if we're not careful, we could end up repeating the same mistakes we've made on Earth, polluting a pristine environment with our waste. This raises a deeper question: are we ready to be responsible stewards of the moon, or are we just going to treat it like another dumping ground? A detail I find fascinating is how difficult it was to observe this crash. The impact site was near Einstein crater, which is on the moon's sunlit western limb, a spot that's notoriously hard to see from Earth. Even scientists with telescopes aimed at the right time and place couldn't catch a glimpse. Visual confirmation will have to wait for NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter to fly over the area. It's a reminder of how much we still rely on technology to fill in the gaps of our understanding. If you ask me, this whole situation is a wake-up call. As we push the boundaries of space exploration, we need to think critically about the long-term consequences of our actions. Personally, I think it's time for the space community to come together and establish some ground rules, or should I say moon rules, to prevent this kind of thing from happening again. Because let's face it, the moon deserves better than becoming a junkyard for our ambitions. So here's my closing thought: as we look up at the moon and dream of walking on its surface, let's also remember that it's not just a destination, it's a shared resource. How we treat it today will determine what it looks like for future generations. What do you think? Are we doing enough to protect the moon, or is this just the beginning of a much bigger problem? Let me know in the comments below.